Hey, this is Nick Nielsen, Mad Scientist of Muscle, and what I've got for you today here is a review of a product that's probably a bit different than a lot of the stuff that I've reviewed before. Now, this is actually an automatic foot massager from a company called Cupilo, Cupilo. Now, I wasn't quite sure what to make of this thing when I first got this, to be honest, because it looks like a futuristic, stick your feet in it and something happens kind of thing. But what I want to do here is kind of give you a run through on the features, show you a bit how it works. Now obviously I'm not going to be able to translate exactly how this feels on your feet when you're using it, but I'm going to show you kind of how it looks when it's operating. Now essentially this has two slots you stick your feet into. Crazy for a foot massager, I know, but in the bottom of this foot massager are these knobby little lumpy things. That's the technical term for it. When you turn this foot massager on, these things shift around. An air pump, basically like a blood pressure cuff, fills up and compresses against your feet. So this is fantastic for improving circulation in your feet. If you've got poor circulation in your feet, you're going to absolutely love this because it fills up, it squeezes the fluid, the blood out of your feet, kind of gives you that manual circulation effect, and then it releases. So it's basically contracting and releasing just like a pump, helping with circulation in your feet. Now, in addition to that kneading, in addition to the air pump, it actually has heat as well. So, you have warm, you have warmer and warmest. It's not ever going to get super hot. You don't really need to get it super hot, but getting something like your feet warmed up as you're getting them massaged, as you're getting the circulation pumped through your feet, that's quite a combination. And basically, if you have circulation issues, if you've got foot pain, you're going to love this thing. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it when I first got it, but the more I use it, the more I actually really, really like this thing. I have this normally just sitting under my desk. I'll pop my feet in and I'll turn it on and I'll run it for 15-20 minutes. It actually turns on automatically to 15 minutes. You can set it for 20, you can set it for 30 using this handy dandy remote control. So you don't even need to lean forward and push buttons. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't have to. So what I'm going to do here is zoom in so you can kind of get a better idea of the setup on how these buttons work and what this unit sounds like as it's operating, and I'll give you kind of a run through as well as I'm getting my feet massaged. Now, before I get started with an actual foot massage demo here, I do want to point out a really cool feature. These internal fabric coverings are removable and washable. So if you've got excessively sweaty feet, or if you decide to use it barefoot and you wash it in between users, you can absolutely do that. This has a zipper. It has Velcro here. You just undo the zipper, pop out the Velcro, take it out, wash it, and then reverse the process to put these back in. So I've got it out. You just zip it back in and functions just like a normal zipper. You line up these things here. It might be a little bit hard to see, black on black on black, but that's basically the gist of it. Then you just zip these things back up and you're good to go. Now, as I said, there are some lumpy things. They're kind of like little knuckles that are inside this area right here. As you're using the massager, the thing fills up with air, moves the things up and down your feet, and then basically, I hesitate to say the word, grinds them against the bottom of your feet, but that's kind of what it is. Now, they shift around, and because your feet are held in place by the compression of the air pockets right here, it actually really gets in there and really kneads the bottom of your feet really, really nicely. I was actually really surprised at the power of how it is, and it's actually extremely functional. So let me put my feet in here. Like I said, you can wear socks, you can not wear socks, whatever you want to do. Use your little remote here. Turn it on. Now, it automatically starts with the 15-minute cycle. And it'll run through and it'll automatically turn off when you're done. You can set this timer to, I'll give you a close-up on the remote here. You've got power button, you've got your timer, You've got air compression. Yeah, no, that's the kneading one. That's your air compression. That's your heat. That's if you want to turn the sound off so it doesn't beep when you're changing to the different settings on here. So right now I've got it on 15 minutes on the timer. I've got it low on the kneading. I've got low on the air, and I've got medium on the heat. So, I mean, the first thing I did when I tested this thing out is I cranked everything up to the maximum just to see what would happen. And it actually, it felt really good. Well, right now, because everything is kind of on low, it feels pretty gentle on here. So, you know, you're not getting a painful foot massage, but it really kind of gets in, and you know, like right now, it's compressing with the air and then moving these knuckle pads in and around under your feet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to crank it up a bit. And you can see the beauty of having this remote. You can do this literally from a full seated position. Now I'm going to crank up the air. Now we're on high. I'm going to crank up the heat. Now we're high on everything. This will give you really solid compression in around the feet. Now, if you hear another noise in the background, that's actually a neighbor of mine sawing out in his garage. So that's not the sound of this thing working. This thing's actually really, really quiet. It's even quieter than the sound of my neighbor sawing something in his garage across the street. So essentially, as you're getting the compressive effect, as you're getting a nice heat effect, it's holding your feet in place, and then it's working on the bottoms of your feet as you're basically just passively sitting there. So, like I said, I actually found this really beneficial for when I was just sitting and working. Like, I do a lot of heavy loaded carry work, and this really helped my feet feel better. I used to have a problem with plantar fasciitis many years ago, so this would have been really useful when I had that issue. And then if you want to just stop, you can just hit the power button, stop, and pull your feet out. All right, so that is the gist of the automatic foot massager from Cupilo. Now, you kind of get the idea that I like this thing. The only one single downside I can really think of is if you have really sensitive feet, it might be a little too much on the bottoms of your feet. The light setting is definitely going to help with that. I personally didn't find it to be painful at all, even on maxed out settings on everything. It didn't get too hot, it didn't get too painful on the feet at all, but you will notice a very strong compressive effect with the air. You will notice a very strong kneading on the bottom of your feet as you're running the cycle on this thing. Now, one other slight disadvantage, and I think it's not really a disadvantage, it's kind of just a necessity for this. This is something you will need to plug into a wall outlet with. This is not going to run on batteries. This is too powerful to run on batteries. You're going to need a lot more juice than will be available for a battery, unless it's, I don't know, if it was a lawnmower battery, maybe it might have a chance, but because this thing does have some power to it, you will need to plug it in. So you will need to kind of basically figure out where you're going to plug this in. Like for me, under a desk, I got plugins all over the place. I've got power strips, I've got battery backups. This work like a charm. Cord's about 6 feet long. It's going to stretch to a lot of different places. Now, the overall quality of this thing, I'll kind of give you a close-up view on it here too. It is made of plastic. This is good quality neoprene in here. You know, I didn't think that there was any issues with quality here at all. You don't need this to be made out of steel or anything like that. But the feet on here, they have rubberized grips. So even if you're using this on, you know, like a hardwood floor or linoleum floor, it's not going to slide. Like let me put it on the, this is concrete right here. You know, if you're pushing down and moving, it's not going to slide. If you're picking it up and sliding, it's going to slide. But basically, you're not going to put your feet in and the thing is going to go shooting away from you, even if it's on a linoleum floor. So overall, I really like this unit. If you've got foot pain, if you've got circulation issues, this is something I would highly recommend you get. And it's really, literally brain dead simple. You plug it in, you turn it on, and it's going to start doing stuff. And then you can determine, using your little remote control, do I want heat? Do I want heavier kneading? Do I want more air compression to basically force the circulation through the feet? If you want those on, you can have those on. If you don't want those on, you don't need those on. So you can basically select exactly the massage type that you want. Leave those settings active. Just all you have to do is pop your feet in, turn the thing on, and go. So brain dead simple, really nice little piece of equipment, really nice piece of home health equipment that if you've got any issues with your feet, I think you're going to love this.